Your phone vibrates once, a small pulse against your palm, barely noticeable to anyone else in the room, but to you it feels heavier than it should. You glance down slowly, careful not to attract attention, and the screen lights up for a moment. A single coded message appears. They know. The words sit there silently, cold and simple. You lock the phone again and place it back on the table as if nothing has changed. Across from you, the cartel lieutenant studies your face a little longer than usual. His eyes do not move away. The room is dim and heavy with the smell of gun oil, sweat, and cheap liquor. A slow ceiling fan turns above you, pushing warm air in tired circles. Glass bottles sit scattered across the table, half empty. A faint buzzing from an old fluorescent light hums in the background. No one speaks. Everyone waits. The silence stretches. You keep your breathing steady and your face calm. Inside your chest, however, the weight of 2 years presses down like concrete. Every lie you have told, every story you created, every name you memorized now feels like it could collapse at any moment. You remember exactly how this life began. 2 years ago, you were nobody important. Just a quiet intelligence recruit sitting inside a gray government office building where every hallway looked the same and every desk held stacks of unfinished reports. The fluorescent lights there never seemed to turn off. They hummed quietly day and night, filling the air with a dull electric sound. Your job was simple: read information, write summaries, and follow orders. You were replaceable, invisible. Then one afternoon someone called you into a small windowless room. 2 officers sat across the table from you. A thin folder rested between them. They did not waste time with introductions or explanations. One of them opened the folder and slid a few photographs across the table. Faces of criminals you had never seen before. Cartel leaders, smugglers, men responsible for violence that stretched across borders. Then the officer asked a single question. Can you disappear? No speeches, no dramatic recruitment moment. Just a calm question and the quiet understanding that your life could change completely if you said yes. You remember sitting there for several seconds, listening to the soft buzz of the light above your head. Eventually you nodded. That decision erased your old life. Over the next 12 days, a new identity was built for you piece by piece. A new birth certificate from a small border town. A fabricated school history. Old social media accounts created years in the past. Financial records. Travel documents. Even small personal details like favorite foods and childhood memories were carefully written so they could survive casual conversation. You studied everything until the story became automatic. After 3 weeks of training and preparation, you crossed a border checkpoint carrying a passport that had technically never existed before. The guard looked at it for less than 10 seconds before waving you through. Just like that, your previous identity vanished behind you. From that moment forward, your life followed a strict and quiet routine. Most mornings begin before sunrise. The safe house you stay in is small and cramped, with cracked walls and a single narrow window. The air inside is warm and still. When your alarm goes off, you sit up slowly and listen for a moment. Silence is important. If something sounds different, you leave immediately. You check your burner phone first, then the weapon hidden beneath the bed, then the small notebook where you record details you cannot afford to forget. Breakfast is usually quick, instant coffee, sometimes bread if there is time. By the time the sky begins to lighten, you are already outside, walking through quiet streets toward the day's work. Your role in the organization grew slowly. At first, you were nothing more than a helper in warehouses where shipments arrived late at night. Wooden crates moved from trucks to storage rooms. Nobody trusted you enough to explain what was inside. You learned to watch and listen. You memorized the faces of every worker, the way they spoke, the way they carried themselves, the schedules of trucks arriving and leaving. Small details that seemed meaningless at first slowly formed a map inside your mind. Eventually, the organization trusted you with more responsibility. You began driving shipments along long desert highways that stretched for hours without interruption. The road ahead would glow orange under the setting sun, while the men in the passenger seat discussed violent business as if it were normal work. Kidnappings, money, rival groups disappearing. You rarely spoke. Your job was to listen. You remembered license plates, road signs, distances between checkpoints, and the temperature inside storage warehouses where money was counted. Stacks of cash wrapped in plastic sometimes reached heights taller than your arm. Every bundle had a weight. Every room had a number. You stored those details quietly in your memory. Promotions came slowly and without celebration. One day someone simply handed you a new responsibility and expected you to perform it without mistakes. More money passed through your hands. More information flowed around you. The deeper you went, the quieter your life became. The system valued obedience. It punished curiosity. You learned never to ask questions. Months passed, then years. During that time, the person you used to be slowly faded. Your real name became something distant, almost unreal. Phone calls to your family became rare and short. Conversations lasted less than a minute because too many words could expose too much. Relationships slowly thinned until they disappeared entirely. Isolation became part of the job. Eventually, it felt normal. The identity you created, the criminal persona, the fake history, the rehearsed personality, became the only stable version of yourself that remained. And now you sit here at this table. The lieutenant leans forward slightly. His eyes narrow as he studies you with quiet curiosity. The room is silent except for the slow rotation of the fan above. The identity you created, the criminal persona, the fake history, the rehearsed personality, became the only stable version of yourself that remained. And now you sit here at this table. The lieutenant leans forward slightly. His eyes narrow as he studies you with quiet curiosity. The room is silent except for the slow rotation of the fan above. Then he asks a calm question. Who sent you? The words are simple but heavy. On the table between you rests a handgun. Its metal surface reflects the dim light from the ceiling. No one touches it. Not yet. Outside the building you can hear the low rumble of engines idling in the darkness. Guards wait there, listening for instructions. Somewhere not far away, someone has probably already begun preparing a shallow grave. In this world, people disappear quietly every day. In this moment, the truth becomes clear. This system you entered years ago does not care about loyalty, bravery, or sacrifice. It only cares about usefulness. As long as you provide value, you are allowed to exist. The moment suspicion becomes stronger than trust, the machine removes you without hesitation. Survival here has never been about winning. It has never been about escaping either. It is simply about how long you can continue living inside the lie before the system decides your role is finished. And when that moment finally arrives, the organization will keep moving forward exactly as it always has, efficient, silent, and indifferent. Another person will eventually sit where you are sitting now. Another recruit will learn a new name. And the machine will continue operating perfectly, long after everyone involved has forgotten who you were.